The first time Alexander Knight heard soft footsteps in his mansion kitchen past midnight, he thought it was the staff. But when he opened the pantry door and saw a little girl crouched in the darkness, eating cold scraps with trembling hands, his world froze. Her name was Aisha. And she was the daughter of his maid, Maria. But nothing about her looked like she belonged anywhere near the life of luxury Alexander lived. Her dress was torn at the hem, her cheeks pale, and her eyes wide with fear, as if she expected to be yelled at or dragged away. Alexander, one of the most feared and respected billionaires in the city, had never felt so speechless. Aisha dropped the plate and scrambled back. "Please, I am sorry, I was hungry. Mama did not know." "I will not come again," she whispered, her voice cracking. And in that moment, everything Alexander thought he knew about loyalty, pride, and human dignity shattered like the plate at his feet. A man with everything. Except a heart that felt alive. Alexander's wealth was the stuff of newspapers and nightly news coverage. Private jets, global companies, a mansion filled with gold accents and marble floors. But memories of his own childhood poverty still haunted him. He had built walls around his heart, believing that softness meant weakness. Maria, his maid for 5 years, had never once asked for help, even though Alexander had suspected her life was not easy. She arrived to work tired, stayed long hours, and always refused extra payment. Now he understood why. She had been using every penny to feed her daughter, but still it was not enough. When pride meets pain. Alexander offered Aisha food, sitting quietly as she ate like she had not eaten in days. He did not ask questions. He only listened. The next morning, he called Maria into his study. "You should have told me," he said gently. But Maria bowed her head. "Sir, I am grateful for this job. I did not want you to think I was using your kindness. I only wanted to earn what we needed with dignity. Please do not fire me." Her voice trembled the same way Aisha's had. And Alexander, for the first time in years, felt his chest tighten with anger, not at them, but at himself. "You think I would punish you for loving your child?" he asked. "Maria, I owe you an apology." A challenge from the world outside. Word slowly spread among certain society members that Alexander Knight had a maid and her child living under his support. Some mocked him behind his back. "You are becoming soft, Alex. People will start taking advantage of you." Others questioned his judgment. "Helping the poor is one thing, but taking them into your home. Are you losing your mind?" But Alexander had made his decision. Aisha was not going back to hunger. Maria would never feel ashamed again. He enrolled Aisha in the best school in the city. He promoted Maria to head household manager with triple the salary. He arranged medical checkups, clothing, books, everything her daughter needed. And for the first time in a very long time, his mansion felt like a home, not a cold monument of wealth. Healing through kindness. Aisha changed too. The frightened child who once hid to eat leftovers slowly became a bright, confident girl who filled the mansion with laughter. She loved stories, and soon, Alexander found himself reading to her after work, something he had never imagined doing for anyone. "You are like the father I never had," she whispered one evening. Those words hit deeper than any business loss or success ever had. The day Alexander learned the truth. One afternoon, Maria came to Alexander in tears. "Sir, I need to tell you something. I was not always a maid. Years ago, I worked in one of your factories. My husband died in an accident there. I never told anyone because I was afraid they would blame you." Her hands shook as she spoke. Alexander's heart dropped. He had spent years trying to improve worker safety, but it had not been enough to save her husband. "I cannot change the past," he said, voice thick with remorse. "But I can change your future. I promise you that. A new beginning." Alexander funded a foundation in her husband's name, dedicated to supporting workers' families and improving safety across all industries he owned. Maria and Aisha were no longer just employees. They were family. The message that echoed beyond wealth. When a reporter later asked Alexander Knight at a charity event why a billionaire would dedicate millions to a maid's family, his answer stunned everyone. Because when you have the power to change someone's life and choose not to, that is true poverty. Final message. The story of a billionaire and a hungry little girl hiding to eat leftovers became more than a headline. It became a reminder. Sometimes the greatest wealth is not measured in money, but in the lives we choose to lift when no one is watching. And sometimes, the most powerful reaction is not anger, judgment, or shame, but compassion. Aisha was no longer the frightened little girl who hid in the pantry to eat leftovers. Weeks had passed since Alexander Knight had changed her and Maria's life forever. The mansion was brighter now. Halls that once echoed with nothing but footsteps of wealthy silence now carried laughter, books, and hope. But every story that seems perfect has a shadow waiting to return. And this shadow arrived one quiet evening, in the form of a knock at the mansion gate. A stranger with familiar eyes. Maria had just finished arranging fresh flowers in the hall when the security guard called her. "Madam, a man is waiting outside. He says he knows you." Maria felt her heart turn cold. She went to the gate, and there stood a man with tired eyes, clothes dusty, holding a small bag. His voice trembled. "Maria, it's me, Daniel." Maria staggered back. "But, you are dead. I buried you." Aisha, who was playing near the doorway, heard the voice. She ran and froze. "Papa." Alexander, watching from a distance, felt something tighten inside him. Truth that hurts more than lies. Daniel was alive. He had survived the factory accident but was taken away with severe injuries. He had lost his memory for months and later was too ashamed to return to his family empty-handed. He worked far away, trying to rebuild himself, and when he finally found them, years had passed. "I saw your name in a charity article, and I came. I did not know what life you were living now. But I had to try to see you, and my daughter." Maria struggled to breathe. Alexander felt guilt rise in him again. If he had known, if he had checked deeper into the accident, maybe things would have been different. Aisha torn between two worlds. Aisha stared at the father she had mourned for years. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Why didn't you come for me? I waited every night. I prayed you would walk in and hug me." Daniel's voice cracked. "I wanted to. I tried. But I thought you both deserved more than a broken man." She ran to her room, crying. Alexander followed slowly and knocked on her door. "Aisha, may I come in?" She didn't speak, but he entered gently. Aisha sobbed into his coat. "Uncle Alexander, will you send me away now that my papa is back?" Alexander's heart broke. "Never. You are family. Nothing will change that." Maria's fear. Later that night, Maria stood before Alexander. "Sir, I am grateful for everything you have done. But Daniel is my husband. Aisha needs her father. If you want us to leave, I understand." Alexander looked directly into her eyes. "Maria, I helped you because it was right, not because I wanted something in return. You don't have to leave. Daniel is welcome here. Let him heal with his family." Maria wiped her tears, unable to speak. The world begins to judge again. But rumors traveled fast. People began whispering that Maria had tricked Alexander, that she had pretended to be a widow to gain sympathy. A board member confronted Alexander. "This makes you look foolish, Alex. People say you're being used." Alexander replied firmly. "I do not help people for approval. I help them because I know what hunger feels like." And that ended the conversation. Daniel's promise and Alexander's challenge. Daniel approached Alexander the next morning. "Sir, I don't know how to repay what you did for my family." Alexander shook his head. "Then don't repay me. Prove to me that you are ready to rebuild your life and be the father Aisha deserves." Daniel nodded, eyes determined. "Give me a chance to work. Anywhere. I will start from the lowest position if I must." Alexander smiled slightly. "Then we begin tomorrow." A new fear begins. Just when the family started to find peace again, an official letter arrived for Alexander. Inside was a threat. "Your factories are responsible for more deaths than you know. Stop your investigation, or you will regret it." Alexander's investigation into worker safety had begun uncovering something darker: corruption, theft, and cover-ups. He looked at Maria and Daniel, then at Aisha playing in the garden. he quietly said to himself. If I want to protect them, I must finish what I started. And so, a new storm was coming.